Liam and I secretly got a marriage license. He's a lawyer. Every time he tried a new intimate move with his childhood sweetheart, he would offer to make up the wedding with me. For 3 years, he proposed 33 times and stood me up 33 times. The first time, his childhood friend's dog died. In order to mourn, he decided not to hold a wedding for 3 months. I wore my wedding dress, apologizing to my friends and family here. The second time, Aunt Sophie had a stomachache. He immediately told the wedding car to turn around. Go back and cook brown sugar water for her. From then on, every time a wedding is scheduled, his Sophie would always run into all sorts of trouble. I cried. I also made a scene. Liam always said, Sophie and I are just bedfellows, you're my wife, don't be so petty. After the 33rd time, I couldn't hold out any longer. I handed him the divorce papers. The cooling off period is over. Let's go get the divorce papers. Liam once again didn't come to our wedding. This is the 32nd time he's been absent. This time he was at a party celebrating the success of his 999th case. This celebration party was specially prepared for him by Sophie. The party, everyone thought Sophie was his girlfriend. Someone said, Liam and Mtk's Sophie grew up together. Talent and appearance are comparable. On an occasion like this, I'd like to have a glass of wine. I don't think it's right. That's right. We want to see Liam and Mtk's Sophie drink a toast. The noise of the crowd reached my ears. He and I have had a license for 3 years, but he's never publicly recognized me as Mrs. Liam. I cower in the corner, watching him look fondly at Sophie. The two drank a toast together. After the party, I was worried that my relationship would be discovered. I waited for Liam at the intersection next to the hotel. His black car slowly drove up. Slowly and the windows came down. I saw Sophie asleep on the passenger side. Liam looks at me. The tone of his voice is still so natural. He says, you can go home by yourself. I have to drop Sophie off. I lowered my head. I bowed my head. Liam's a terrible germaphobe. He doesn't allow any other smells in the car. Once, he was too stubborn, pissed off a client. I almost drank myself to a stomach hemorrhage just to make amends for him. But as soon as it was over, he frowned, said to me with a disgusted face, the smell on you is too heavy. Find your own way back. That day, he left me alone in the snowy countryside. I walked for 4 hours before I got home. Now, a drunken Sophie is sleeping quietly in the seat next to him. His rules, turns out they only work for me. I smiled bitterly, trying to sound as smooth as possible. The wedding tomorrow. Are you still coming? Liam hesitated for a moment, asked, definitely have to take care of Sophie tonight. Can't make it tomorrow. That's all for now. My heart sank, but still nodded gently and said, I'll take care of Sophie tonight. I paused for a moment. I took out the document from my bag, handed it to Liam. Sign this document. Maybe I feel embarrassed. Liam didn't even look at it. He just picked up the pen and signed it. Then he looked at me. He said softly, go back tomorrow. I'll bring you Xiao Long Bao from the west side of the city, your favorite. After saying that, he drove away. When Liam returned home, it was already noon the next day. He stood in front of the mirror, took off the shirt with Sophie's lipstick stains. He suddenly stopped what he was doing, cocked his head, looked at me sitting on the edge of the bed through the mirror. What was that paper you had me sign yesterday? I looked up, a little complicated in his eyes, but quickly calmed down again. I didn't ask when I signed it, just remembered to ask now, just suddenly remembered. You are my wife. Am I worried that you'll harm me? Liam smiles. He looks like he doesn't care. I lower my head, blocking out the sarcasm in my eyes. Aren't you worried that I'm making you sign divorce papers or a transfer of property? Liam's heart tightens at that, frowning, looks a little flustered and upset. He asks, are you kidding me? He came in front of me. Hands gently lifted my face. The tone was gentle yet firm. You understand. If you leave, I will definitely go crazy. If I have to choose one, I'd rather it be a transfer of property. Liam looked at me. His eyes were full of love. He said he couldn't leave me. He really meant it. And the feelings were genuine. So, what I said as a joke, it's actually true. I asked him to sign. It was the divorce agreement that dissolved our relationship. After 5 years of love and 3 years of marriage, my relationship with Liam is about to come to an end. As soon as I arrived at the office in the afternoon, I went to the personnel office, submitted my resignation letter. The personnel supervisor looked up to see it was me. She had a surprised look on her face. Emily, are you sure you want to do it? You've been with Liam the longest. We've been talking about it in private. Even if the firm closes, you wouldn't leave. Now, all of a sudden, The supervisor hadn't finished speaking. I lowered my head. Before yesterday, I was thinking the same thing, this law firm. Liam and I started it from scratch together. We worked hard together. We struggled together. When I received my first case, Liam treated me to a big meal with his retainer fee. That day, we were in a 54-story restaurant, looking out the window at all the cars. Liam put his arm around me. He said he was lucky to have me by his side in his life. I smiled softly. Everyone has their own choices. I've already decided. The personnel director looked at me. With regret in his eyes, he said, "Since you have decided, then I wish you all the best in the future." I whispered a thank you, left the personnel office, just sat down on the seat. The cell phone ding-donged. I picked up the phone, saw that Sophie had sent a friend circle. In the photo, Liam is lying on the bed, sleeping peacefully. She matched the text to say, "Last night drank too much, thanks to someone who took good care of him. Give him a small strawberry as a reward. Afraid I can't see it. She specially ate me." This isn't the first time Sophie has done this. 3 out of 10 of her friend circles specifically mention me. The remaining 7 are visible only to me. Before, it was always easy for her to piss me off with this kind of trick. I've argued with Liam and made a scene. Every time he told me lightly, "Sophie and I are just temporary partners. You're my real wife. Don't be so calculating." Liam is convinced that I love him deeply. He wouldn't leave him, so he has no qualms about hurting me. I smiled, but my heart still didn't feel right. Suddenly, the colleague next to me called out, "Look, Liam's girlfriend is here." I followed the gaze and looked over. Sophie was wearing high heels. Twisting her waist, she walked into Liam's office. The blinds of the office quickly fall down, blocking the view from inside and outside. I lowered my head. Thoughts unconsciously went back to the past. That time, Liam pressed me against the office desk. A strange light shone in his eyes, smiling. "Don't you think it's like we're cheating on each other like this? It's exciting." Beads of his sweat fall on me. He hugs me tightly, whispering a promise. "Waiting for the wedding day. I will definitely publicize our relationship." I laughed at my old self. It's so stupid that it makes people's heart ache. I actually believed his sweet words over and over again, and being cheated by him for a whole 32 times. However, I touched the divorce agreement and resignation report in my bag. There won't be a next time. 2 hours later, my coworker and I were handing over work. Liam sends a message. "Send in a cup of coffee." He's particular about coffee. The ratio of sugar to bitterness is precisely controlled. In the whole company, I'm the only one who can blend his favorite flavor. I sighed. I stood up and went to make coffee. I didn't expect to meet Sophie in the pantry. She saw me come in. And had a scornful smile on her face. "Emily, your temper is really getting the better of you now. I thought you were going to storm into the office and arrest me," she said while deliberately raising her chin, showing the red mark on her neck. "Emily." I lowered my head. "Pick up the coffee beans. Would you like a cup? This is Jamaican Blue Mountain coffee beans. It tastes great." Sophie freezes at my composure. She looked me up and down, as if she was looking at a monster. "What are you showing off? Do you think Liam won't divorce you? I'm telling you, it was because I made a joke. Liam got a marriage license from you. Why else would she get a marriage license with you? Why else would she have delayed the wedding?" "Sophie, what are you talking about?" Liam's tall figure squeezed into the pantry. His face was flustered. He stared at Sophie reproachfully. But Sophie didn't get angry. Instead, she took his arm as if he were a pet. Liam, it was to make me happy that you agreed to marry Emily in the first place. Liam, you agreed to marry Emily just to make me happy." Liam's face became complicated, as if he wanted to explain something, but he opened his mouth. He didn't say a word. His eyes fluttered. He didn't dare to look at me. His face was full of emptiness and panic. I stood frozen in place. Sophie's words kept echoing in my head. In my relationship with Liam, I always took the initiative. I've been chasing him for 5 years. From the beginning, when he confessed his love, to finally plucking up the courage to propose. He has always been ambiguous in neither refusing nor agreeing. The day Liam said he wanted to marry me, I was so excited that I didn't close my eyes for the whole night. I thought he was finally impressed by me. I thought he liked me in his heart. But now, reality is like a sharp knife, tearing all my beautiful imaginations to shreds. I smiled bitterly, handing the freshly brewed coffee to Liam. "Liam, coffee is ready. I'll leave now," I said. I ignored Liam's flustered expression. I turned around and left without a word. At night, I was just about to sleep. The cell phone suddenly rang. It was Liam calling. Emily, what Sophie said this afternoon, don't take it seriously. She's just talking nonsense. He sounded anxious, like he's worried I'll believe it. I took the phone, speak calmly. I understand. Maybe I'm too calm. Liam is a little surprised. There was silence on the other side of the phone for a moment. He goes on. The 18th of next month is a good day. Let's set the wedding for that day. I gripped the phone tightly, fingers unconsciously hard. After hesitating for a while, I decided to tell Liam about the divorce. Are you free tomorrow? About the divorce. I didn't finish my sentence. Sophie's voice suddenly came over the phone. Liam, are you still packing? Come over quickly. Liam's voice got smaller. With a little bit of urgency, he asks, Emily, what did you say? I didn't hear you. I'll tell you what. I have to accompany Sophie to the exhibition tomorrow. We'll talk when I get back. The call was disconnected. The only sound left on the phone was a beep. I smiled. I wanted to talk to him face to face, but he didn't give me that chance. Later, I smoothly resigned from the company, packed up my personal belongings at home, moved into a new home. Liam would send me some photos of the wedding decoration from time to time. There are so many styles of weddings. Which one do you prefer? I think the beach is nice. What do you think? I'm staring at those exquisite designs. I'm a bit disdainful. It's been 3 years since we got our license. I've experienced many expectations and disappointments during this period. Now I've decided to leave. And he suddenly became positive about the wedding. At the same time, Sophie's circle of friends is updated every day. It's not the sweet pictures of the two of them together. It's the surprise videos Liam made for her. By the day before the wedding that Liam agreed to is also the last day of the divorce cooling-off period. Sophie's circle of friends suddenly appeared a video proposal. In the video, Sophie wearing a white wedding dress, standing in a blooming flower bush. Liam kneeled on one knee, holding a sparkling diamond ring in his hand. People around him are shouting, "Give me a kiss." The video ends. The scene stops at the moment when Liam smiles and holds Sophie close. I watched it in silence, simply commented a congratulations, and then hacked Sophie. It didn't take long. Liam's phone call came through. His tone was pleasant. Emily, I'll be back tomorrow. The wedding arrangements have been made. When I get back, we can do the wedding straight away. The next morning, I didn't go to the beach wedding. It was past noon. Liam hadn't called to ask why I wasn't at the wedding. It wasn't until the evening. He came home with a tired face, seeing me sitting on the sofa. Guilt and weakness showed in his eyes. Sophie wasn't feeling well. That's why he came back late. But it's okay. I promise that the next wedding will go smoothly. After hearing this, I didn't feel a thing, as expected. He didn't show up for his 33rd wedding again. I looked at him quietly, handed him the divorce agreement that I had prepared long ago. No need. The cooling-off period is over. Let's go get a license, Liam said, looking at my serious expression. I was surprised. I had forgiven him 32 times before. Maybe in his mind, it's almost the same as unlimited tolerance, meaning he can do whatever he wants. Sophie is a typical example. It's because of my tolerance and Liam's favor. She has no qualms about being sarcastic in my presence. Emily, are you kidding me? Although he's out on a limb, divorce is still a heavy topic for him. He can't forget Sophie's tenderness. He can't let go of the warmth of his family. If you're still upset about Sophie, there's no need. I've said it before. Sophie and I had a spur-of-the-moment relationship. What I did with her, it won't affect our relationship from the beginning to the end. I've always loved only you. Bedmate, I recognize every word, but together, it's the first time I've heard of it. It's outrageous. I can't imagine how thick Liam's skin can be. He can say such things without changing his face. He glamorizes the sinful immorality of the flesh. He glorifies it as a relationship of mutual dependence. It's so superficial. So, in this monogamous society, how can I accept my husband to find another partner outside? Not to mention Sophie's appearance. It's not just our relationship that will be damaged. She will slowly replace me, turning me into a scorned and abandoned woman. They are the ones who made the mistake. I'm the one who gets hurt. As a lawyer, Liam understands the bottom line of the law. As long as he doesn't step on his line, he won't stop. His mouth is too eloquent. My questions and rebuttals seem weak. After all, I'm his wife. I'm no match for him. Liam, you married me for another reason. Now you want to stay. It's ridiculous. How can you have real feelings for someone you don't care about? How can you have real feelings for someone you don't care about? This relationship is almost over. Obviously, I don't feel relief in my heart. I'm still trying to hold on to it, pretend to be more affectionate. It is really a typical love of acting. Originally signed the divorce agreement. We can get together and part ways, each pursuing the life they want. Now you're acting like this. What do you want? Liam is panicking. The cooling off period for divorce is over. He couldn't find a reason to keep the relationship going, no matter which way he looks at it. He's a thin-skinned man who people look down on. Even if the law does not pursue, moral accusations would be inevitable. This is too incompatible with the elite image he presents to the outside world. I cleared my throat. I kept my eyes on him. I don't have time to spend with you here. 3 days later, see you at the Civil Affairs Bureau. You go your way. I'll go my way. I'll go my way. You cross your own bridge, that's all. I turned around and left. I didn't look back. Liam shouted, Emily, you'd better think it over. You're still working in my company. Your career and future are in my hands. Your career and future are in my hands. You dare to leave me. You can't afford the consequences. I expected this. Liam won't give up so easily. Since playing the emotional card didn't work, he resorted to the old trick of threats. In today's society, as long as your status is high enough, you can control other people's fate, even if the feelings are not deep. I've been with you for 8 years. Your thoughts, I don't dare to say I fully understand, but I can make a good guess. There's something I forgot to say. I've resigned. Everything is in order. The formalities have all been completed. Now even you can't back out now. From now on, you and I are no longer superior and subordinate. I won't listen to you anymore. That's all. I was relieved. After enduring under Liam's strength for so long, I can finally straighten my back. Although Liam still kept talking, I completely ignored it, turned around and left in big strides. Before leaving the door, I turned back and said to him in a tone of notice, I'm well aware that attorney Liam is busy, but I made your appointment 3 days ago. This is our last meeting. I hope you won't be late. After I left, Liam was getting panicky. The only leverage he had couldn't threaten me anymore. He couldn't think of any other way to make me stay. Liam called HR. What was the reason for Emily's situation? His tone was particularly forceful. Personnel was a little flustered to hear it, also a little confused. Usually employees leave their jobs as long as the work is handed over. Liam usually doesn't care much. Personnel hurriedly said, Don't worry, Emily's work has all been handed over. It won't affect the work progress. This report has been approved by you. Do you have any other questions? Liam rubs his temples. He thought back to the documents he had recently approved. It seems that he did sign a separation report. At that time, all he could think about was Sophie and her sweet time abroad. He had long forgotten all about these irrelevant documents. I didn't expect to find Emily's separation report inside. At the law firm, Emily usually handles documents that don't involve principals. Liam is only responsible for signing. I don't care about anything else. Because I'm capable. Leave the work to me. Liam will have more time to spend with Sophie. To avoid gossip in the company, Liam never disclosed my identity. That's why my departure went so smoothly. His silence made the HR department panic. Liam, are you okay? I still have Emily's contact information. I'll try to get in touch with her. And report back to you. Liam was silent for a while. What he really wanted. It was never his wife's contact information. Emily is my wife. I'm looking for her contact information. What do you care? You're the one. Forget it. It's useless to talk to you. Liam hung up the phone. The whole person was instantly surrounded by fatigue and irritation. The personnel department on the other end of the phone. The mood could not be calmed for a long time. I'm so busy in the company. Didn't even have time to take a breath. Doesn't look like Liam's wife at all. Personnel department knows. Immediately spread the news throughout the company. One of my ex-colleagues couldn't help but be curious. He sent me a message. Emily, you're really hiding something. No, I should call you the boss's wife now. I read this message. I could only laugh bitterly. I replied, You sent it late. I am no longer the boss's wife. Liam and I filed for divorce not long ago. Now I am single. No longer have any relationship with him. Maybe my leaving made Liam panic. He's been hiding his identity for so many years, and now it's revealed itself. His affair with Sophie was seen by his colleagues. That's good. Let his subordinates see clearly what kind of person they are following. My ex-colleague suddenly sent a series of exclamation points. There are also several emoticons that go around and around. He sent a message saying, I can't believe Liam is like this. People's hearts are so sinister. Emily, you don't have to be too sad. This kind of person doesn't deserve to be sad. And there's that Sophie. I've always thought there's something wrong with her. Liam's shiny exterior has been uncovered. It's full of contemptible ugliness. He's like something shiny on the outside. Inside, he's rotten. And now I've finally let go of my heaviest burden, Liam's emotions. It doesn't matter to me anymore. Some of the words came out of my mouth. Liam frowned. He looks sad. But without you, I turn away resolutely. It doesn't matter who's missing from this world. The pain you can't erase. Time will help you heal it. After leaving Liam, I wasn't worried at all. When I was with him, I was in charge of the company's most important business. My ability and connections are enough for me to start my own business. Staying with Liam, on the contrary, it will limit my own development. After arriving at the new company, my career is still thriving. As time went by, I almost forgot what it felt like to be controlled by him. His face had become more and more blurred in my memory. It wasn't until I got a phone call a year later. I vaguely remembered those days. The caller. It was the same coworker who used to fight for me. Emily, how's your life these days? I guessed why she called me. I'm not sure, but I'd like to know. While I was away, how's Liam's company doing? I'm fine. What did you want to see me about, business or personal? She sounded a little nervous. Liam's firm is bankrupt. There's no business to attend to. I don't have a job anymore. Emily, you must be different from them. You must have a very successful career now. I've been thinking about this for a while. A year ago, Liam's problems started to show. He wasn't rational enough. Only when I'm around. He can't be afraid of anything. My leaving the firm. It was like losing an arm for him. This kind of person. How can he survive in such a competitive environment? His failure in his career. Completely self-inflicted. I wonder now, if he knew that his former subordinate came to me, how would he feel? Liam surely understands better than I do. Those who get support are many. Fewer people lose support. Nothing in the world is brand new. Liam's in this position. Someone else has been there before. My former colleagues told me. I left the firm less than 2 months ago. The firm was in disarray. And not just because he was used to being in charge. Once I left, the whole firm was left unattended. He became more and more paranoid. He missed a lot of good opportunities, although I don't like Liam as a person. But I have to admit, his workability is really outstanding in terms of overall strength. His performance in other areas is poor. The whole law firm is in trouble. Although some old friends were willing to help, but they were all rejected by Liam. He no longer cared about work. Sophie felt he was no longer worth keeping. She left soon after. She never saw Liam again. The law firm barely survived for a year. In the end, it didn't last. I listened to my ex-colleagues' complaints, but I'm not happy about it. Liam's current situation is doomed. Neither should I laugh at him. Neither do I have to pity him. This is his own choice. How to go has nothing to do with me. I said with a smile, I understand. It's to be expected. Anyway, you're free now. Why don't you come and help me out here? The voice on the other end of the line suddenly got a little higher. Emily, even if you're not at the firm anymore, you're still the one I can count on. If you say so, I'll do whatever you want, but I still don't understand. Liam and you used to be husband and wife. Why are you so calm now, listening to this? I smiled. If you lost a piece of gold, you'd be thinking about it all the time, even if it's never recovered. You would definitely regret it later. If only you could have cherished it more in the first place. But if you threw away a stone, you'll only be happy that you're less burdened. How could you possibly pick it up again? The coworkers over there froze for a moment. Then came a light laughter. You speak in such an easy-to-understand way. If only I could listen to you more often. It would definitely be a great help. You must give me this opportunity, I said with a smile. I will. Remember to adjust your routine. Be ready for the interview. I hung up the phone. I felt a whole lot more relaxed. I didn't have to work my ass off to prove myself, disregarding my health. I didn't get depressed just because I was emotionally frustrated, muddling around all day. Now, the two sides of my inner scale have reached an almost perfect balance. The legal verdict has finally settled, bringing me freedom and happiness.